Yeah, welcome to the new unit 6, nucleic acid and its biologically important nucleotides. So, what are the components of nucleotides? A nucleotide is made up of three components. So, this is the carbohydrate, a ribose sugar, a pentose sugar. This is a nitrogen base, and this is a phosphate group. So, there are three components: a sugar, nitrogen base, and phosphate. What are the different types of sugar? So there are two types of sugars which is present in the DNA and RNA. In RNA, the sugar is ribose sugar, and in DNA, it is the deoxyribose sugar. Where is the difference? The difference is on the second carbon position, where one oxygen is less in deoxyribose sugar. So this is deoxyribose and this is ribose sugar. This is present in RNA and this is present in DNA. And what are the nitrogen bases? So there are two categories. One is called purines and pyrimidines. The purines are double ringed structure. There are two rings, while the pyrimidine have only one ring present. Purines are of two types. There are guanine and adenine, while pyrimidines are cytosine, thymine, and uracil. Guanine, adenine, thymine, and cytosine are present in DNA, while guanine, adenine, cytosine, and uracil are present in RNA. So in RNA, thymine is replaced by uracil. And how a nucleoside or nucleotide is formed? How a nucleoside and nucleotide is formed? A nucleoside is formed by the combination of a sugar and a base. So sugar plus base is called a nucleoside. So that combined with phosphate means what? A nucleotide. So nucleotide has three components: a sugar, base, and a phosphate, while a nucleoside has only sugar and nitrogen bases. There is no phosphate here. So this is the nucleotide: a pentose sugar, nitrogenous base, which may be adenine, thymine, cytosine, or guanine in the DNA case, and there is a phosphate group added. Let's look at the more details. So this is once again the representation of nucleotides. So what are the parts of the nucleotide? So this is the pentose sugar. So the nitrogen base is attached on the first carbon atom through a N-glycosidic bond. So this bond is called what? N-glycosidic bond. So the nitrogenous base attached to the pentose sugar through N-glycosidic bond, and on the fifth position of the carbon atom, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, a phosphate group is attached. Phosphoric acid group is attached by the removal of one molecule of water. So this bond is called a phosphoester bond. So this bond is called what? Ester bond. So this is N-glycosidic bond and this is the phosphoester bond. So this structure is called what? Nucleotide. And how many types of nucleotides are there in DNA? DNA le etra nucleotides ഉണ്ട്? There are DNA. There are 4 nucleotides. So what are they? They are adenylic acid, guanylic acid, thymidyllic acid, and cytidyllic acid. So the 4 one. Let's look at what are the importance and structure of ATP. So ATP is a nucleotide, adenosine triphosphate. So ATP consists of three phosphate groups, ribose and adenine. So this is a ribose sugar, not deoxyribose sugar. It's a ribose sugar because the oxygen is present in the second carbon position, and this is attached to a adenine through this bond is called a N-glycosidic bond, and to this three phosphate groups are attached through the ester bond. Three phosphate groups are there. So this is called adenosine, and how many phosphate groups are here? 1, 2 and 3. If there is only one phosphate, it's called adenosine monophosphate. If there are two phosphate group 1 and 2, this is called adenosine diphosphate. If there is three phosphate, then it is called adenosine triphosphate. Very simple structure. Okay, so this bond is what? N-glycosidic bond. This is the ester bond. So this is another simple structure. Say here. So this is ribose plus adenine is called adenosine. That means the nucleoside. Ribose plus sugar is called adenosine. One phosphate is called adenosine monophosphate. Two phosphate group adenosine diphosphate. Three phosphate adenosine triphosphate. So this is a structural details of adenosine triphosphate. Now this is ATP. These are all energy rich bond. This bond. So this phosphate is called alpha. In alpha position, this is in beta position, and this is the gamma position. Lot of energy is present stored in this bond. Clear? So this bond contains the maximum amount of energy when the ATP is broken down, one phosphate is removed and energy is released. So when this bond breaks, what the product you get is what? ADP plus 1 phosphate, inorganic phosphate is liberated, and 34 kilojoules of energy is liberated. So ATP is broken down into ADP plus inorganic phosphate plus energy. So ATP gives a lot of energy during the metabolic process. So what are it's already told, the phosphoric group starting with the group closest to the ribose is refers to the alpha. So which is alpha 1? This is alpha, this is a beta, and this is the gamma 1. The phosphate tail of ATP is the actual power source of energy, which is cell taps. Energy contained in the bonds between the phosphate is released when they are broken through a process called what? Hydrolysis, by using water. Only the outer phosphate is removed. Usually only the outer phosphate, this phosphate is removed to yield the energy. And what does it form? ADP plus inorganic phosphate has formed. So it's a energy carrying molecule found in all the cells of living organism. So it captures the chemical energy from the breakdown of food molecules and released into the cells for the cellular process. So what do the chemical energy is used for? It's used to derive metabolic reactions. So types of chemical reaction happens in this body, so it requires energy, so it's used for that. To transport needed substance across the membrane, sometimes some metal, some materials, some substance are to be transported from a lower concentration to a higher concentration. So it needs the pumping of energy, and to do the mechanical work such as moving muscles. So whatever physical work you are doing, so all this requires energy. It's not a storage molecule for chemical energy. That is the job of carbohydrates, such as glycogen and fats. So the glycogen and fats stores the chemical energy. So when the energy is needed by the cell, it is converted from storage molecule into ATP. So these glycogen and fats are broken down, and during that process ATP is generated. So then from the ATP the energy is released for the cellular activities. So this is a cell is actually half filled. Adenosine diphosphate means what? Not too much energy. So when the third phosphate is linked, it becomes fully charged. So the adenosine triphosphate is completely charged with lots of energy. So this is less energy. So how does the ATP produces energy? By a process called the cellular respiration. The process of releasing of energy from ATP is called cellular respiration. Adenosine diphosphate combined with a phosphate by the enzyme adenosine what? Adenosine synthase. So where is the ATP synthase is located? It's in the cellular membrane called mitochondrial membrane, which is present in plants. It is in the chloroplast. So, and who discovered it? It's Albert Lippmann and Hermann Kalker in 1941. The central role of ATP is discovered in the energy metabolism by Lippmann and Hermann Kalker. Thanks for watching.